Thanks for coming along. We are joined, as always, by Greg Engert, beer director for the neighborhood restaurant group of Food and Wine Sommelier of the Year. The group including Rustico in Alexandria and Ballston, also Columbia Firehouse in Old Town. Greg, it is always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
What do we have on tap this week? Literally on tap.
This is on tap. We are at the Arsenal, which is the restaurant and bar component of Bluejacket. So I figured it'd be great to taste one of our beers and fresh from tap, as you said. This is Forbidden Planet. It is a dry hopped Kolsch of around 5% alcohol. Really airy, crisp, refreshing, but packed with a lot of hop aromatics in the nose. So
okay, right to it. Whoa, little spillage. Ooh, that's nice. It's got a real grain cereal. Is that what I'm tasting there? I like that.
It's got the grainy cereal, but then it's got like a juicy fruit character to it. So what we did with this is actually the first beer we ever brewed at Bluejacket. And obviously this is like our 6th batch we brewed. It's probably our most popular beer right now, one of our flagships. And it actually was born of a pilot batch we did. We did a homebrew pilot batch back in last spring to compete in the Kolsch Cup, which was done over at Gordon Biersch, our neighbor in Navy Yard. And so everybody brings their own rendition. All the local brewers brought their own rendition of Kolsch. We figured, you know, all these guys would be doing, especially with like the Gordon Biersches of the world, they're known for classic German styles. So we didn't want to really compete with them on their own terms. So instead we brewed a classic German Kolsch, which is basically a German blonde ale. Mild hop character on the palate, a lot of that great malty, toasty note. Instead, we used Hersbrucker and Tettnanger, kind of noble, or semi-noble German hop varietals for an earthy bitterness, not too bitter on the palate, just drying quality. And then when the beer was done fermenting with ale yeast, with Kolsch we ferment ale yeast but cool around 62 degrees. Other ales would be closer to 68, 72. So this inhibits it from being too fruit forward or spicy. And then instead of packaging and serving it as a classic German Kolsch, we then cold crashed it, and then following we dry hopped it with 22 pounds of Galaxy hops from Australia. These are an amazing hop varietal, some of the hardest in the world to get because of their just huge, vivacious tropical fruit, mango, apricot, peach quality, which you get in the nose here. So the idea with Forbidden Planet was to brew a Kolsch that smelled like an IPA, but drank like a Kolsch on the palate. It's kind of a beer for hopheads who don't want to get, too snookered off of the IPA, so we get something that's lower in alcohol, all that hop intensity in the nose without the bitterness. But it's also great for people who think, they don't like hops. There are a lot of drinkers out there like, I don't like, the one kind of beer I don't like are hoppy beers. But that's typically because they don't like the bitterness. So by adding this intense amount of Galaxy hops to our dry hopping phase, we're able to show people who think they don't like hops that actually, if we use hops just for aromatic intensity, you might like it. So it's been amazing how many people who don't like hops who love this beer.
I can't stand goat cheese. And so most people look at me like I just walked off the spaceship from another planet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, if you don't like a certain taste, you don't like a certain taste.
And that's what's cool with this one. It'd be hard to make goat cheese not taste like goat's milk, which is the thing. For us here, I really think we achieved this thing where we got all the hop aromatics in it without the bitterness that typically accompanies. And so it's been a kind of like the beer for everybody at Bluejacket.
What would you pair it with?
So, I speak to what we pair it with at the Arsenal. This is great with, we do this awesome kale Caesar, but I think just in general, like a Caesar salad, fantastic stuff here because you've got this almost lemonade without the acidity quality to it. So it's great to kind of bring in this like spritz of lemon, liven it up, a little bit of that fruity dryness balancing against the anchovies brine is fantastic. We love that. And then we have a great shrimp burger, so like shrimp in general. But again, you think of that like really tangy kind of citric, lemony, zippy acidity, not acidity, but zippy carbonation. It's fantastic with that.
Quickly, before we go, what was the inspiration for the name?
So when we name things, it's great. It's a great question. I love the name Forbidden Planet too. we try to think of all the associations. What do we brew the beer with? It should be mentioned that I work with Michael Babin, who's the founder of our group, Chris Mullins, who's our graphic designer for our group, and the three of us kind of name all the beers together. So what I'll do is kind of give them a rundown of what the beer kind of tastes like, what's in the beer, and then let them kind of go for, or myself go for like associations to the different words. So we kind of picked up on galaxy hops here as a term and started thinking galaxy, space invaders, kind of, and then we started thinking about like, sci-fi movies, B movies from the 1950s, and thinking about Forbidden Planet. And actually, I had just seen this really amazing version of Rocky Horror Picture Show, which was showing at Studio Theater. And of course, the intro and outro song to that mentions Forbidden Planet. So that's kind of where it came from.
All right, excellent. Greg, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everyone, please always do drink responsibly, and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.